Okay, the audio on this isn't going to be perfect because I'm not running the full route. But basically what you're going to watch here, and I'm going to try to narrate it as best I can while I'm doing it, is how I put out an episode of a show. So I've already, here, let me start over actually. I'll have to edit this thing that I'm doing here. So first thing I do is I launch Kdenlive. Don't worry about Audacity running in the background. It's doing something you already know how to do. So home, and I grab the big FLV file. You wait for it to load. On this machine, it'll probably load a bit quicker than your laptop. Not too much quicker because it's not really dependent on the number of cores. It does a lot of it in single core, and your laptop isn't that much slower single core. It's just got a lot less cores. As you can see, it kind of shows you its progress as it builds the waveform down here. We can already start on it. The waveform just isn't built all the way. Down here at the bottom right is a zoom. It's kind of counterintuitive, but this is the zoom. And I can kind of see where it starts right here. Yeah, see, because I know that we start with American tune. I know it's hard to read here on the preview, but if I make the preview bigger, all the controls get small. So then I find the point where the stinger starts. Now that's good enough. I use these scissors here. I cut that motherfucker. Cut it right where I put the pointer, otherwise something could go wrong. You go back to the little arrow. You delete the thing before it. Then to make things easy, I zoom all the way back out. I push that fucker to the beginning. I make sure it actually is all the way at the beginning by zooming in on the beginning here. Wherever you put the pointer is when you zoom, that'll be where it's centered. So that's kind of how this works. So I'll zoom back out. You can kind of see on the, okay, here's where the song is again. You can see it's boomers. And then you can kind of see where the end is, and I just keep zooming in as I move the pointer. And I stop it right there. Don't worry about the fact that my video's there. I cover it with something else. So I cut that fucker. Then I get this off of the end. So now all we have is the show, like raw. So I'll bring up the renderer, and I go to render project, and then I go all the way down to audio only. I grab the wave. I render it to a wave. It's going to put the wave in documents. And I'll have to wait for this, but obviously you won't. Okay, you can see it's done here. Fabulous, right? So then we bring up the file manager. And it saved that wave file in documents. So I'll pull up the documents folder. Then I'll go into Audacity. If you don't have Audacity open, you'd have to open it. I called it Untitled Wave. So I just drag that into here. It opens it. Make sure it's the right fucking thing. Just by
step up and kind of take that place. So they're just kind of like working on building that world as much as possible, I think.
That's 100% the right thing. So I go to the beginning, zoom all the way in. Okay, it's silent here. You don't cut the silence because it's part of the video, but I always make sure that there's, like, if the rest of a song's playing or whatever, I would highlight this part and I'd go Effect, Normalize, minus 99, just to mute it out. And then at the end, because we didn't really, like, I started talking over the end of boomers, right? I'll grab like this, and I will go Effect, Fade Out. And I hit Control F to bring it back into focus. As you can see, it's not filling the whole waveform here. So we'll Effect, Normalize, 0, because we want the volume. We want it loud when people go to listen to the video. Not overdrive, just loud. And that's close enough. Sometimes, let's say it was a little less, right? If it was a little less, you'd go to plugins, limiter, and then you'd just do minus 1.5 would be too much. But here, if it was a little less, I'd go minus 0.1 and see how much it brings it up. You want it to bring it up. Actually, the waveform we have here is perfect. And if it doesn't show up about like this, you want to use the limiter to fix it. And if you do too much on the limiter, you'll be able to tell because it'll be blown out, and you can just hit Control Z to undo it. But now that we have the beginning, we made sure that there's silence at the beginning, and we made sure that the end fades out to nothing. We just go File, Export, Wave, and I just put it on the desktop as Untitled Wave. And then I clear all this out because it'll confuse the filing on Kdenlive when I go to export it if there's anything in the WAV file, and I hit OK. Now I'm going to leave this here because this is also a podcast episode, so I don't have to go back through and cut out the podcast episode. I already have the podcast episode audio here, so I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to close Audacity out. This renders pretty quick because it's just a WAV file. So then we go back into Kdenlive. I like to go to the beginning, and then we take this. These two are grouped. See, if you move one, they both move. You can go ungroup clips. Now you've ungrouped the audio from the video. So then you highlight the audio. You delete that fucker because we're not going to use that one. We pull the file manager up. We grab untitled WAV from the desktop that we just saved. And then while I'm here, I also go into videos. And then I'll grab like Discord for the end to cover up the Discord red glow for the end. Pop that in there. Now you can see this has already been analyzed. I'm going to move this renderer off the screen so it's not in our way here. Then you drag it and you bring it to the very beginning. And you can always go in somewhere in the middle.
In his mind,
Check the audio video sync.
which you'll see.
But the answers to your questions were all like very... Yeah, the audio video sync is good, so that's fine. And then at the very end, because as you see... I come up at the end. We don't want that, right? That's a dumb way for the video to end. So I'll grab this pointer out of the way so it doesn't do weird stuff. I'll grab this Discord red glow. I'll ungroup these because there's no audio here anyway, and it'll try to process the audio to just make it take longer. And I can drag the end of this, and it'll snap kind of automatically to where the Discord red glow starts, and I just grab the top, and it'll fade out. So at the end, instead of it kind of jumping over to... And that's it. It's done. We've got the beginning.
When they actually spend their time listening to this show, what does it mean? It means we're winning.
And because we checked the video, it's glad that he doesn't have to move himself. I am not looking forward to the day that I have. So the video sync is all good. Everything's good. We're ready to export. So I'll grab the render back in. When I go to render project, I go to MP4. I have to find out what episode of Intellectual Dollar Tree this is. This is 136. So when you go to export, you go to the top. You want the MP4 H.264 AAC, and the standard quality is fine. We're not recording any of this in super high quality anyway. So you go up here, you go select output, you put it somewhere. You know where it's going to be. In my case, I put it desktop to backup. So I go Intellectual Dollar Tree 136, and this is called Travis Pangburn is a coward. If you want to listen to the episode, you'll find out why I'm calling it that. And you hit save, and that doesn't actually save it. It just tells the renderer where to put it. You actually have to hit render to file. Then once you hit render to file, it'll wait a minute. It's going to do a little bit of calculations. I don't know, whatever it has to do to get ready to render, and then it'll tell you approximately how long it's going to take to render. In this case, it's 1630, and when this happens, I always make sure that I've got this on performance, and I do. So that's about as fast as this machine's going to do it. And that's it. That's how I do an episode.